It never starts with proof. It starts with a feeling so small you almost insult yourself for noticing it. A shift in the silence, a second shadow where only one should exist. A private certainty that you are no longer moving through the city alone, even though nothing visible has stepped forward to confirm it yet. The first time you look back, the street is empty. Parked cars, closed shop windows, light pooling on wet pavement, nothing that should frighten you. And yet your body stays alert because fear is often faster than evidence. It reacts to patterns before the mind can translate them into language, so you keep walking. Not because you feel safe, but because continuing forward feels less humiliating than admitting you are afraid of something you cannot even point at. That is how the fear gets in. It uses your need to stay reasonable against you. Then you hear a step that does not belong to you. Not loud, not dramatic, just a second rhythm entering your pace from somewhere behind. And suddenly the idea becomes simple enough to hurt. Someone is back there. You stop. The second rhythm stops too. You turn. The street behind you is still empty. That should calm you. Instead, it makes the fear worse. An empty street is easy to understand. A street that sounds occupied while looking empty is not. You start walking again, slower this time, counting your own steps to maintain control. 1, 2, 3. Then the interruption returns, slightly delayed, never matching you perfectly. That small difference is enough to make it feel intentional rather than accidental. At the next corner, you decide to test it. You cross without warning and glance at the dark window of a closed store. In the reflection, something taller than you passes briefly through the frame behind your shoulder, then vanishes before you can turn fast enough to catch it directly. Now the fear has structure. It is no longer just a feeling, it is a pattern. And once fear becomes a pattern, your mind starts building rules around it. Do not stop too long. Do not let the street go fully empty. Do not turn your back on open spaces. Do not run unless it runs first. You see him for the first time under a weak streetlight at the far end of the block. Too far to read his face. Too still to feel normal. A man-shaped outline wearing darkness more neatly than clothing. He is not hiding. That is the part that unsettles you most. He does not wave. He does not advance. He only stands there long enough for certainty to form, then steps back into shadow with such ease that the street seems to close over him. When you reach the spot, there is nobody there, only a bus stop bench and the smell of wet concrete. You tell yourself he could have entered a doorway, crossed a side alley, hidden between parked vans. The explanations sound possible until you realize you never heard any of those movements. If a man had left that quickly, the city should have carried some trace of him. Instead, it offers only the memory of being observed. From that moment on, the fear changes again. You are no longer imagining a threat in empty space. You are remembering a body that chose not to remain visible. The memory follows you almost more effectively than the man himself. Normally, you take the longer way home because it stays near traffic. That night, you choose the shortcut between the apartment blocks because fear likes bad decisions when it dresses them as efficiency. The path is narrower, darker, and quieter. Every sound in it becomes personal. Halfway through, you hear the step again. This time there is no uncertainty. It lands clearly behind you, then another, always keeping distance, not rushing, not hesitating. The measured pace feels more violent than running would. Running would mean emotion. This sounds controlled. You turn too fast and almost slip. No one, only laundry balconies above, locked basement doors, and the low hum of building electricity. But in one black window at the second floor, you catch a reflection of movement below you that does not belong to your own body. You leave the shortcut without dignity, almost jogging now, and hate the panic, because it confirms what the street has been teaching you all night. Someone does not need to touch you to control your pace, your breathing, or your decisions. He only needs to remain exactly where you cannot fully prove him. When your building finally comes into view, relief arrives too early and too strongly. That alone makes you suspicious. Safety that appears before the danger is over rarely lasts. You reach the entrance, fumble the keys, and feel watched so intensely that your hands lose precision. The key slips once, then again. Behind you, the street remains silent. But the silence feels active now, like a held breath. You get the door open and step into the lobby without looking back, because looking back would mean admitting that whatever is outside matters more than the lock between you and it. Inside, the lobby light buzzes weakly. The mailbox row reflects your outline in warped metal strips. In one of them, for less than a second, you see a second outline through the glass entrance behind you. You turn immediately. No one is there. The street outside looks empty again. That should end it. Buildings, locks, walls. Those are supposed to reduce danger into distance. Instead, the fear tightens. Because now the question is worse. Did he stay outside? Or did he come in while you were busy proving the first option to yourself? You avoid the elevator without even thinking. A stairwell at least offers angles, exits, and sight lines. Or so you tell yourself as you push through the heavy fire door and enter the concrete shaft. The sound of your shoes expands upward and downward at once, turning every step into an announcement. By the second landing, you hear another footstep below, then a pause, then another, not rushed, not hiding. Whoever it is has chosen to let the stairwell carry the sound upward to you. That confidence changes the fear from possibility into private communication. You stop and hold the railing, listening. The other steps stop too. The silence stretches then, very softly. Someone taps the metal handrail from below. Just once. The sound travels upward through your palm, where your hand is touching the rail, intimate in a way direct noise never could be. You move again, faster now, and the steps below resume with patient accuracy. He is not trying to catch you. He is making sure you know he could continue forever. A man chasing you creates panic. A man matching you creates despair. When you reach your floor, the corridor looks unchanged. Identical doors, weak lights, flat carpet. You hurry to your apartment and stop cold when you see the door already slightly open. You know you locked it before leaving. You always do. The tiny dark line at the frame feels more aggressive than a broken window ever could. For one irrational second, you consider going back to the stairs, but that means passing the space where the footsteps are coming from. So you choose the other terror instead, the one already waiting in your own apartment. You push the door open slowly and listen before entering. Nothing inside looks wrong at first glance. The living room is dim and still. The kitchen light is off. The air is ordinary. Yet the apartment feels recently used, as if someone has just walked through it and then stepped aside before you arrived. The feeling is impossible to prove and impossible to shake. Then you hear the stairwell door outside close gently, not slammed, not hurried. Just enough to tell you he has reached your floor too. Whatever comfort the apartment offered disappears instantly. Home is no longer an opposite to the threat. It is now part of the map of the pursuit. You lock the door, then check it twice, then once more with pressure from your shoulder because certainty has become physical. The apartment remains silent. That silence should help, but now every room feels like a hiding place you happen to arrive in second. You move from room to room, turning on lights. Living room, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, closet, nothing. No broken objects, no sign of forced entry, no stranger standing where fear placed him. That absence creates a new kind of terror, the possibility that the threat does not need to enter to dominate the space. Then your phone vibrates. No caller ID, no message preview. Just a blank notification from an unknown number that says one thing when you unlock it. You walk faster when you are scared. The sentence is simple enough to be real and intimate enough to erase every remaining doubt. You check the windows immediately. The angle from the street could not show your pace inside the stairwell. That means he either guessed, watched longer than you realized, or has been close enough for far too much of the night. None of those options help. From the bedroom window, you can see the street light where you first noticed the silhouette. The block looks empty now, but emptiness no longer reassures you. Emptiness has become the preferred stage, the place where he is most effective because your mind keeps filling it with the exact shape you fear most. Then you see him again across the street, standing perfectly still beneath a tree where the branches break the light over his shoulders. He is closer than before, close enough now that the outline of a coat becomes visible. Still too far for a face, always too far for a face. You reach for your phone to take a picture, but by the time the camera opens, the space is empty. The tree remains, the pavement shines, and the exact place where he stood looks insultingly ordinary. The photo captures nothing but a street that will never admit what you saw there. A second message arrives before you lower the phone, better when you look away. That line lands harder than the first because it explains the entire night. He does not disappear because he is gone. He disappears because visibility itself is part of how he controls the distance between certainty and fear. You call the police. While the phone rings, you become aware of how weak your own explanation will sound. A man-shaped figure, footsteps, messages from an unknown number, a door slightly open, nothing clean enough for urgency. Fear hates procedure because procedure demands evidence with clear edges. The dispatcher asks if you are in immediate danger. You look around your locked apartment and hate how difficult that question becomes. Immediate means visible, measurable, undeniable. What you have is total danger stretched across uncertainty. You say yes anyway because fear finally outweighs embarrassment. While you wait, the lights in the apartment flicker once, then again. You tell yourself the building wiring is old. That is true. The problem is that truth no longer protects you. Too many ordinary explanations have already been used as cover tonight. Each practical reason now feels like a disguise the fear can borrow whenever it needs one. A call comes through from the same unknown number while you're still connected to emergency services. Your screen shows no name, only a blank incoming line. You decline it. It calls again immediately, then again. The dispatcher keeps asking if someone is inside. You realize you do not know how to answer without making the fear sound smaller than it is. Then someone knocks on your apartment door. 3 slow knocks, not violent, not rushed. The kind of knock a polite visitor might use. That normality is what breaks your composure. A threat that imitates courtesy knows exactly what it is doing to the body receiving it from the wrong side of a locked door. The dispatcher tells you not to open it, as if that were even a possibility. You step backward, phone at your ear, and stare at the door handle waiting for movement. Nothing happens. Then the knocks come again, same spacing, same control, patient enough to suggest the man outside believes the apartment already belongs to part of him. A voice speaks through the door at last, quiet enough that you have to hold your breath to hear it. It says your name once, not loudly, not angrily, just accurately. The dispatcher asks what is happening, but for a second you cannot answer because everything inside you is listening to that one unbearable fact. He knows exactly where to place his voice. Then the voice says something worse. You were easier to follow than the others. The sentence is calm, almost observational. It does not sound like a threat shouted in anger. It sounds like a note from someone reviewing a routine. That calmness reshapes the fear from panic into pure dread. The police say they are close. You no longer trust time enough to find that reassuring. The unknown number sends one more message while the knocks stop completely. Open if you want to see my face. The promise feels strategic. He has withheld the one detail that would stabilize the fear, and now he offers it like a reward. Minutes pass without sound. That silence becomes unbearable. Eventually, you make the mistake fear always wants from people. You seek confirmation. You approach the door and look through the peephole. The corridor is empty except for one thing placed carefully on the carpet directly outside. Your own house key, the spare you lost 3 months ago. Seeing the key rearranges the whole story at once. This is not a man who began following you tonight. Tonight is only the moment you noticed. He has been near your routines, your entrances, your losses, your small forgettable errors. The pursuit did not start outside, it only became visible there. Then the building intercom buzzes downstairs. Then someone tries your handle once gently, not to break it, just to prove that locks are conversations, not guarantees. The police knock 1 floor below at almost the same moment, and for a few seconds every sound in the building becomes indistinguishable from him. After the police leave, memory begins rewriting itself with terrible speed. You remember the man standing too still by the pharmacy 2 weeks ago. The same coat shape near the bus stop last Friday. The figure across the street who seemed to light a cigarette without ever bringing a hand to his face. None of those moments frightened you then. They do now. You start reviewing tiny losses and oddities you dismissed before. The missing spare key. The time your mailbox was left slightly open. The night your apartment door felt unlocked for half a second before the latch caught. The unknown breathing on an abandoned call you blamed on bad reception. Each detail was weak alone. Together they form surveillance. That is the cruelest part of being followed. The fear does not remain in the present. It moves backward and infects the past. Once you accept the follower exists, old accidents lose their innocence. Every ordinary mistake begins to look like access. Every coincidence begins to look like rehearsal. You realize the maniac never needed one dramatic moment to overpower you. He only needed enough small moments placed carefully over time. By the time the pattern revealed itself, it was already stronger than any single piece of proof could have been. After that night, routine becomes contaminated. You no longer walk home. You monitor approaches, mirrors, gaps between parked cars, and the pace of strangers behind you. Every route splits into questions. Every familiar block becomes a test of whether memory belongs to the city itself or to the person who may still be using it to track you. You learn how fear edits behavior. You take brighter streets even when they add 20 minutes. You stop wearing headphones. You avoid standing too close to glass because reflections now feel like witnesses that might betray you a second too early. None of this feels dramatic from the outside, which makes it even lonelier to live inside. The strangest change is how carefully you listen to ordinary men. A cough behind you, a shoe scrape at a crosswalk, a voice asking for the time. All of it arrives carrying the possibility of recognition. Not because every stranger is dangerous, but because one dangerous stranger taught your body how quickly normal human sound can become a message. That is how a follower survives even in absence. He does not need to stay visible. He only needs to leave you with a routine built around the possibility of him. And once your life bends around that possibility, part of him keeps walking with you, whether the street is empty or not. They never found him. The officers searched the corridor, the stairwell, the street, and the neighboring entrances. They found no one, no weapon, no witness willing to confirm what I saw. The spare key outside my door disappeared between the moment I stepped back from the peephole and the moment I reopened it with them beside me. The messages were gone too. Not deleted from my phone, but gone as if they had never arrived. Call logs showed only the emergency number. Screenshots I thought I had taken contained blurred shots of my own hand, an empty street, and one dark frame with nothing but reflected light where a face should have been. I moved 2 weeks later. New locks, new route home, new neighborhood, brighter streets. None of it changed the thing that stayed with me. I still count footsteps automatically when I walk at night. I still avoid reflective windows if the street behind me is too empty. I still feel watched most sharply in places where nothing visible is wrong. Because that is what the maniac really left behind. Not proof, not a face, not a crime scene clean enough to explain. He left a permanent break in routine, a private knowledge that being followed begins long before the follower lets you name him. By the time you're sure, he already knows how fast you walk when fear takes over. If this story unsettled you, leave a like and subscribe for more psychological horror, stalker stories, and slow burn nightmares. Your support helps the channel grow, and it tells me to keep making videos where the scariest thing is not what attacks you, but what quietly learns your routine first.